California expands on the claim of a single Congolese asylum seeker filed last week. Miss L, as she is referred to in the complaint, has been detained in San Diego while her 7-year-old daughter was sent to Chicago 4 months ago by federal authorities. But on Tuesday, just days after the initial lawsuit was filed, Miss L was released. The class action seeks to represent all adult parents in immigration custody who have a minor child separated from them without a hearing to prove the parent is unfit to care for the child. The DOJ declined to comment on pending litigation. The Department of Homeland Security said that it does not currently have a policy of separating families, but that it does do so at times if a child may be at risk. Tyler Holton, a DHS spokesman, said in a statement, "There have been numerous intelligence reports and cases where kids have been used and trafficked by unrelated adults in an effort to avoid detention. If we are able to confirm this relationship, we must take steps to protect this child." In the class action complaint, Miss L is joined by another anonymous lead plaintiff, Miss C, who is a woman from Brazil who crossed the border and told officials she hoped to apply for asylum in the United States. She was prosecuted on a misdemeanor charge of entering the country illegally and served a 25-day sentence in jail, while her 14-year-old son was sent to a facility in Chicago, according to the lawsuit. On September 22nd, she was transferred to immigration detention in Texas and still has not been able to reunite with her son. The administration has floated the idea of separating families at the border in an attempt to deter migration, but Democratic lawmakers have spoken out against that idea, and the American Academy of Pediatrics said in a statement that family separation measures are harsh and counterproductive. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organization to show up in an emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no-gov license. Cell 411, because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
I got my first Barbie when I was 37 years old. And even when I was younger, I knew I didn't need to look like her to feel good about myself. And just because Barbie has a size 0 waist and wears dark makeup, does that mean that's the only way to be beautiful? I mean, what kind of message does that send to men like me? I always remember that this is just a silly toy, and it shouldn't change the way I look at myself. And if anyone has a problem with me being myself, well, then they're probably not really my friends. I also don't just play with Barbies. I play with Legos and Mega Blocks, because while I definitely like Barbies, I like building things too, and I'm actually really good at it. My name is Tim Mortensen, I'm 43 years old, and I know that I don't need to be defined by Barbie. I can be whoever I want to be.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. The live Sunday night edition with Mark,
Jonny Ray,
and Darryl.
You can call in. You can talk about anything you want here on Free Talk Live. And we're going to get started with something that's pretty relevant right about now. Now, Darryl, you called it daylight shifting time?
Yes.
Did somebody
We're
change
not
this?
saving anything. We are shifting
Did
things.
somebody change the rules, though? I mean, I thought it was called daylight savings time.
I want to throat punch people that say that. There is no S in savings. It is singular. And to make sure that people understand what it is, I call it daylight shifting. We are not saving anything. That 1 hour that you lost today that you supposedly gained back in the fall.
Because it was at 2 a.m.
Right. One, it wasn't daylight. And two, you don't then get extra daylight. It's just shifting when the daylight happens.
So you've got your own term you've made up, and you like it better.
I do like it better, and also nobody's going to try to pluralize shifting. Because shiftings just sounds absolutely stupid.
Daylight savings, daylight savings, daylight savings.
Does anyone else like your term besides you?
I've never done a survey.
I like it. So,
but when I use it, people are like, "Oh yeah, that makes more sense."
When I say daylight savings time too, I really like that. So, what? Tell me, you've got some article on daylight saving time, apparently, or shifting time. Apparently, there's movements across the United States to get rid of this.
Right,
and we've been talking about this on Free Talk Live for a long time.
And as you may be aware, Mark, there was legislation that wound up being defeated last year in New Hampshire.
I was really rooting for it.
To have New Hampshire join Massachusetts in going to Atlantic.
And Maine, right? It wasn't Maine?
Maine was not specified in the bill. Okay. But if Massachusetts and New Hampshire changed time zones, Maine would have done so as well.
All right.
The Maine legislature was considering legislation. The Massachusetts legislature is considering legislation to go to Atlantic Standard and then not observe DST. So it would have the effect of going permanent DST, but that is not allowed under federal law. The two options that states have under federal law is you either observe DST or you do not.
Okay.
Arizona does not. Hawaii does not.
Now, let me ask you this. So I think that effectively daylight saving time, daylight shifting time, as you'd like to call it here. I'm going to try to use that. It's going to take me forever to switch over.
Or just use DST.
Right. So, well, we're on the radio, and and acronyms really don't work. So daylight shifting time essentially moves you one time zone to the east, right?
Correct. So right now in New Hampshire and the rest of the East Coast, Eastern Daylight Time is the same thing as Atlantic Standard.
Yes.
So by moving to Atlantic Standard year-round, you are in effect doing daylight shifting year-round. It's just finding the loophole.
I knew that I hated daylight shifting time. I don't like to move the clocks and all that stuff. I know that there's disadvantages to it. It's incredibly wasteful as far as resources go.
Not only that, but there's actually a lot of health disadvantages to doing it, to where there's increased stress because your sleep cycle gets thrown off. There are more accidents on the Monday after clocks change than there are, several weeks prior combined. There are more people that have heart attacks. There are more people that have strokes because of the added shift.
Don't you wonder that
the added stress to the body? And it's the same thing, people that travel and have jet lag.
But if you had a stroke or a heart attack, in that general vicinity of daylight savings, you were going to probably have it anyway, weren't you?
Possibly, but the added stress of having your clock, your internal clock thrown off. Yeah. Right. It's the same thing when people travel from one coast to the other. That jet lag experience. Basically, everybody in the United States outside of Arizona and Hawaii, they're going to experience jet lag for about a week and a half.
So, when I know that they, all the reasons that they instituted daylight shifting time have basically been disproven over time.
Right, and most people don't realize that, they'll credit Ben Franklin came up with the idea. Ben Franklin's idea was an act of satire. But some jackass decided Ben Franklin wrote this wonderful idea to have everybody become a morning person. Ben Franklin's original idea was to set off cannons when the sun rose up so that more people would be awake early in the morning.
And angry that somebody was setting off cannons. What would be really great is if we all had to do jumping jacks with the dear leader right after the cannons went off.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just create this Prussian society.
4379.
Right.
Bend over, touch your toes. Mr. Smith, bend over.
Now I knew that I didn't like daylight shifting time.
Yes.
But I also liked the time zone during the summer. So I never really realized that what I preferred was the notion of moving New England into the Atlantic time zone, which if you look at a map, that time zone map, it makes perfectly good sense that New England would be in there.
Yes, and there's actually legislation that, and let's jump into this article from ABC News about legislation from your home state, or rather the state that you are originally from, Mark, and that is Florida.
What is a home state? Can somebody answer that to me? Is it the state in which your home is? Because, home's a legal term, isn't it? I'm not even sure I have a home by a legal definition. I don't want one.
It's what you consider it. It's your home state is in the eye of the beholder.
I think it is.
It's like what Dan Carlin says about being a Celt. If you think you're a Celt, you're a Celt.
Oh, okay.
So, right, and that's why I corrected myself and said where you're originally from, because some people will use, home state or hometown to describe where you came from, and other people use it to describe where you currently are domiciled.
Yep.
But there was legislation in Florida that would wind up having the entire state shift a time zone to the east. So
hold on. Florida is in both the central and the eastern time zones.
Right.
Currently.
So the Panhandle that's currently in the central would shift to eastern.
Why don't they just give it to Alabama? Please, for God's sakes, just give it to Alabama.
Alabama would take it. It would give them more coastline.
Yeah, give it to them. I mean, what do you want that for? The Redneck Riviera.
I don't know. Yeah. So the bill, again, ABC News says a bill in Florida would allow the Sunshine State to remain on DST year-round, went to Governor Rick Scott to be signed. So I didn't realize this had passed both houses. I knew it was being considered.
It went through the Senate.
The Associated Press reported on Wednesday if the Sunshine Protection Act is passed, Florida residents will be able to enjoy more evening sunshine in the winter by foregoing setting the clocks back in the fall.
Do we really want that? I mean, who wants the sunlight in the morning? I just don't want it. Maybe it's because I sleep in too much. I don't know. I do have an evening job.
Right.
So I've got to be sort of up and spry till 10 p. Eastern time.
Right, but see, also because we're further north, we get
less sun
different
anyway.
amount of sunshine in the winter than in the summer, and blah, blah, blah. Somebody explain how that works on a flat earth. But the article continues, the state of Massachusetts is also considering ditching daylight shifting altogether for the Atlantic Standard Time, joining places like Nova Scotia and Puerto Rico. Since New England is hundreds of miles further east than other areas in the Eastern Standard Time, it gets dark much earlier.
Yeah.
Other states in the Northeast are considering the move as well. Last year, the Maine House and Senate passed separate bills in support of ditching DST, but only if Massachusetts and New Hampshire opted to do so as well. Hawaii does not observe at all, neither does Arizona.
I don't understand why Alaska does either. The number's 855-450-3733. Your thoughts on daylight shifting time, your thoughts on your current time zone, whatever it might be, we're open to it. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Jode Cress Beckman. From claim jumpers to politicians to coyotes, the straight shooter that shook up the presidential race is taking them all on and licking them good.
Hello, Jode.
Who and what's behind these potato monkey shines?
Well, these scientists are trying to mass-produce potatoes that are more resistant to disease, but they're doing so in potentially dangerous ways that alter their DNA.
Tater disease, what brung us Irish.
Right.
You give a tater man's constitution, you can bet he's coming to play old Joe to call.
Yes, well, nature's revenge could come in the form of disease
now you listen
or
to
allergens.
me, taters. You got gave a mind of a tater.
Jode, please, let me make my point.
You're tater-minded and you're looking to infiltrate old Joe's cabin, but you're too late.
No.
Now you get out, or I'll slice your tater heart out and fry it up on my griddle.
Okay, Jode.
Now, y'all stay close here. Gonna have my jug band back here, and if Jasper don't let me strum the washboard, we're gonna resort to cutting.
This is the Onion News Network.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. We do have the Skype lines working this evening, which I really couldn't figure out last night, but I got it now. Darryl showed me how. You can call in at 855-450-3733 or use the Skype lines. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
Darryl, you've gotten in some kind of legal problem. You're on the run, and the Innocence Project's working with you?
No, not exactly. So the word run is correct. The word Innocence Project also, and yes, that's 2 words, also correct. No, I will be running the New York City Marathon as a member of Team Innocence Project.
I'm sorry, I must not have been listening.
And, well, I need your help to make sure that that happens.
You can have my help, whatever it is, buddy. You can have my help.
Yep. Well, you've already pledged, but I need to raise a total of $3,500 by November to make sure that I'm able to take part in the New York City Marathon as a member of Team Innocence Project. And there are several ways to qualify for the marathon. I'm not, a really, really fast elite runner, so I wound up having to get on a charity team, and the Innocence Project was the charity that I applied to be a part of because I'm passionate about what they do. They help people that were wrongly convicted. They help them wind up getting exonerated. They help them get released from prison, and they've already to date helped 200 people get exonerated, 38 of whom had pled guilty to crimes they did not commit, and 20 had served time on death row. Again, I need to raise $3,500, and all of that goes to the Innocence Project. I've already paid the registration fees, travel, lodging, all of that is being covered. I don't need help with that. I need $3,500 to go to the Innocence Project, and you can donate by going to run.freetalklive.com.
Darryl,
run.freetalklive.com.
Why would someone confess to a crime that they didn't commit?
Most of the time, it's because they are pressured to do so, to where, as you probably are aware, Johnny, the prosecutors and the police, they can legally lie to someone. They can say, we have all of this evidence that shows that you were there. And if you just tell us that you did this thing, we'll go easy on you. Even though you know that you did not do the thing, and then your lawyer, a lot of times the lawyers will encourage, just go ahead. It's going to be so much easier. There's not going to be as much stress.
It will be easier.
Go ahead. Just admit that you did this thing.
Here's one thing.
And we can make it all go away.
I have an explanation too, Jonny Ray. You feel like you have a pretty good grasp on reality, right?
Yes, I do.
You're at least in the center of the percentile, right? Like maybe there's some people with a better grasp on reality, but there are people with a worse grasp on reality, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, if the police get a hold of somebody who is in that bottom 10% of grasps on reality at any given time, couldn't it be so that they, anybody, not just the police, but anybody could convince them that something happened that didn't happen? I've told, for instance, with young kids, it's very easy to imprint memories on young kids by just saying, hey, remember when we went to see Mickey Mouse at Disney World? If you do that to a young kid enough times, they're going to believe they went to Disney World, even if they never went.
Yeah. I convinced myself once of that there were many different colors of yellow jacket, like that there were blue jackets and red jackets, because once when I was a kid, I was stung. I disturbed a nest, and they all attacked me. They were in my clothes. They were in my underwear. And somehow I got it in my head that it was like a rainbow coalition attacking me. And until I was an advanced age, I had told people that had happened, and I convinced myself that it was true. But the reason that I asked you that, Darryl, is because I'm a big fan of Will Grigg, who was a warrior for freedom who died last year, and he told the story of Christopher Tapp in Bonneville County. Christopher Tapp was a young man who had been convicted of murder and rape, and he didn't do it, but he confessed to it. He was mentally disabled, and the police interrogators told him that the lie detector test was an objective source of the truth.
Okay.
And that he had to, Christopher Tapp, during his interview and answering the questions, if the lie detector didn't agree with the answers that he was giving them, then that meant he was wrong. And also they told him that he could save himself the death penalty by confessing to doing something.
Oh, the prosecutors, they'll tell you whatever they want, and then it's not in their hands. It goes to the judge for the decision.
That's not true in Florida. I can tell you that a prosecutor
right.
can
Some states it's the jury that makes the decision.
In some, it just depends on the state. But for instance, they'll make an offer of a lower sentence, and people will confess all the time. I mean, I would say the vast majority of people in prison currently pled to a charge that they didn't commit objectively. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not to say that they didn't commit a charge that was somehow associated or near that or whatever, but For
The
instance,
statistics are that I think it's somewhere between 90 and 95% of people take a plea of some sort.
Oh, I would say that, it's easily that. I know that the cases are that if you are charged, that the chances of you going to trial are far below 99, far below 1% of the time that you would go to charge. But I would say that, for instance, there's probably a lot of first-degree murderers in prison for second-degree murder because they pled down. They didn't commit second-degree murder. They just took the plea. So, there you have an instance of somebody taking a plea for a crime that they didn't commit.
Yes.
So
run.freetalklive.com.
Thank you. That's a long read.
Well, there was Q&A in there.
There was. We were talking about daylight shifting time. And
yes.
You go on with your points here.
Yeah. So the history of daylight shifting, and again, Hawaii and Arizona, minus the Navajo Nation in the northeastern part of the state, do not observe DST. So there's one part of Arizona that does observe, that's the Navajo Nation. Otherwise, Arizona does not.
Well, at the very least, they can show their sovereignty by confusing the hell out of their people.
Daylight shifting, and again, this from ABC, they say it was invented to make best use of daylight hours. Ben Franklin created the concept, according to NASA, and it's been used throughout much of the U.S., Canada, and Europe since World War I. Any state can opt out. All they have to do is pass a law. In 1966, former President Lyndon Johnson signed a law stating that daylight saving began on the last Sunday of April and ended on the last Sunday of October. So, used to be April to October, and now
it's March to November.
The second weekend of March to the first weekend of November.
Which means that if you're in Eastern time zone or Central, whatever your time zone is, you spend most of the year in the time zone that is to the east.
Correct.
Which makes the time zones you're in kind of irrelevant.
Correct.
855-450-3733. How did we get in such a weird, mixed-up world that we're living in the time zone that's ahead of us most of the year? I don't even understand. 855-450-3733.
I'll explain it to you, Mark.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
We just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number's 855-450-3733. We're talking about daylight shifting time. And, I'm learning things that I didn't know. I thought it was half the year was daylight shifting time, half the year was regular.
That's what it was in 1966 when President Johnson signed a law setting the beginning of daylight shifting as the last Sunday of April until the last Sunday of October. And then in 1986, it was changed to be the first Sunday in April, ending at the same time. And then George W. Bush, because somehow changing the clocks helps us fight the war on terror, decided to have it begin the second Sunday of March.
If he would have just switched over to the metric system
November.
In this dumb crap here, I mean, these politicians in there, I control time. They're so transparently ridiculous the way they do things. I want to tell you real quick, because here's one thing the politicians can't control, is now you can mine Bitcoin. You've probably heard about Bitcoin. You're interested in the mining. Here's an opportunity for you to turn U.S. dollars into new cryptocurrency. You can forget about figuring out the costs, the constant equipment upgrades, and the maintenance, and all that stuff. You can make Bitcoin every day, like I do, at pool.bitcoin.com. So all you have to do is give them the money, and then they take care of the rest. You move the Bitcoin out when you feel like moving it out of your account. It's a 100% uptime guarantee. Their website's easy to use, and you can calculate what you'll make right there on the website at pool.bitcoin.com. Not just that, but you also help steer the Bitcoin towards the liberating currency that Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be. You're not just making money at pool.bitcoin.com. You're doing activism while you sleep. Pool.bitcoin.com.
So, you mentioned that politicians can control time, and there are actually some time zones, and there's more from the ABC News article, but there's some time zones like Nepal where their time is off by 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I hate those. The ones where
Nepal is universal time plus 5 hours, 45 minutes.
You should explain what universal time is.
Universal time is, you've probably heard of GMT, which is Greenwich Mean Time.
That's the old racist way of saying it. Now you have to say UTC. Universal Time Consolidated or something.
Universal Coordinated Time, but the abbreviation is in French where it's, the letters are goofed. How is Greenwich a racist term?
Don't ask me.
You're the one that said it's a racist term.
I just read things on the interwebs. The same people that say that the maps make Africa look too small basically say that because somebody came up with time in Greenwich that this is unacceptable or something.
Okay, I've heard people say that calling it Zulu time was somehow offensive to...
Zulu is just the term for Z, but Zulu is 20. So it's Zulu is 24. Is the 24-hour version of UTC. So UTC uses a 12-hour clock.
Not necessarily. UTC could use a 12 or a 24-hour clock.
Well, if you go to 24, then you're just talking about Zulu time. And you're just mislabeling it at that point. So
not necessarily.
All right. Then we would need to say UTC 24, which is a lot more syllables than Zulu. So
right. So again, Nepal is 5 hours 45 minutes ahead of Universal Time. There are some places that are half an hour off. There's actually one in Canada. Newfoundland is half an hour off. So they're 3.5 hours behind Universal Time. North Korea is also half an hour. They are UTC plus 8.5, and that is Pyongyang time. North Korea, here's an argument of why we should observe DST. The North Koreans don't, and we don't want to be like North Korea.
Okay, well, they breathe oxygen too.
Or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously if I was going to try to make this all better, the first thing I would do is get rid of these half hour and 45 minutes and 15-minute time zones and everything. Really, we can't just go ahead and lump it through 15 minutes here, people. That seems ridiculous. But I've also wanted, sort of in my little heart of hearts, when I haven't been thinking about it very thoroughly enough, just everybody to be on the same time. Right? Why does
everybody use UTC, and
Zulu. Why would you use UTC if you're going to make a change? Why would you use the stupid? Like, for instance, we had an interview one time. We scheduled an interview on Free Talk Live for 7:30. This person, who obviously knew nothing about the radio program, was attempting to do their interview at 7:30 in the morning on Free Talk Live. He's like, I was there at the hotel and, nobody was there. Well, that's because we're not on the air until 7 o'clock at night. But, I mean, sometimes...
That wouldn't have happened if if everybody was on the same clock.
Right. If it was 1900 hours, if I had told him 1930 is when you're on the air, then he would have been there at 1930 as opposed to 7:30.
Right. And I prefer the 24-hour clock, and I'm just going to say UTC because that's how I've always referred to Universal Time.
Okay.
Whether it be a 12-hour clock or a 24-hour clock, Universal Time is Universal Time.
Well, I'll tell you what. You go ahead and refer to 24-hour UTC time as Zulu, and I'll go ahead and refer to daylight savings times as daylight shifting time.
All right. So, jumping back into the original article from ABC News.
Oh, before you go on, I wanted to point out that if we made noon at Zulu time, 12 o'clock everywhere in the world, then people would just be going to bed at different times because they're going to get up and go to bed.
People already go to bed at different times.
Yeah, but they go to bed when it gets dark. I mean, generally they want to get up somewhere around sunrise.
Not the people that work a second shift or a third shift. People that get off radio at 10 o'clock at night aren't going to bed when it gets dark.
But the value doesn't really exist if you there's really no particular value to using Zulu time universally, because you still, if you're going to call somebody in Pyongyang, not that I've ever done that, if you were going to do that, you'd still have to do the calculations to try to figure out when they'd be awake.
Right, but already when I call people on the West Coast to try to get program directors, I have to do calculations to figure out what time is it 10 o'clock when that guy gets off his morning shift. Yep. So people that do business outside of the time zone where they are, which is a lot of people, they're already having to do calculations.
And if you were going to make a call, then in likelihood, or you probably should have a scheduled time for that call, right? So then the person would know what time you're scheduled no matter what it is.
There are program directors that I have never gotten on the telephone
Sure.
So when I'm cold calling radio stations, I can't schedule a cold call.
Nope.
You can't schedule cold calls with clients that you're trying to get to advertise.
That much is true. But at least I know when they're going to be awake, generally.
Right. And that's what I'm saying, is you still have to do some kind of math of, it's, this time here, it's that time there. People are already doing math. And, there are so many global businesses or multinational businesses where they're having to adjust for time zones as well. I've got a client in Europe, so therefore I have to adjust time.
I still think time zones are a better choice than going for just a universal time that's always ticking by. You can use that if you want. You can refer to Zulu. I've tried,
and a lot of people do.
I can't make clients understand it though. When I say UTC -4. They think that I'm saying -4 and that I'm in somewhere like Prague or something. I have no idea.
Right, but there are also people that don't understand just subtract 12 from 1900.
It's true.
They're like, wait, what? My clock only has 1 through 12 and there's no 19.
So I say the first step is to, first off, all you crazy weird countries that are doing 15 minutes and half hours, stop it. Just go ahead and pick a time zone and stick to it. And secondly, let's get rid of this crappy daylight shifting time.
Yes. And again, there are some health negatives. ABC News says that in vitro fertilization success drops in March immediately following the time change. Heart attacks spike after the time change, and the number of strokes rise when daylight shifting starts and ends. There's also increased exhaustion and fatigue, especially among teenagers.
855-450-3733. Should we get rid of daylight shifting time?
Yes.
855-450-FREE.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number's 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Go to freetalklive.com. Sign up for our email list. You'll get all kinds of information on new stations we add, promos when we bring them out, and all the good stuff that you want. Completely free. And you just go to the email list right there on the front page. So we're talking about daylight savings time, time zones generally, how we can make time more efficient.
Yes, and also
time measurement more
want to point something out here that you wanted to use Zulu. Apparently, Zulu is a specific time zone, whereas UTC is a time standard that all time zones are based off of.
Okay. So Zulu is the time zone that UTC, the time zone upon which all time zones, conveniently the same one.
Right. And UTC, it's not a zone, it's the standard, and there are all kinds of atomic clocks, and it's based off of stuff in the Earth's rotation. Either can be used on a 24 or a 12-hour clock.
I see. Well, but it can't be. But it also has daylight savings time or standard shifting time, which is that much more confusing. I say the first thing we do, eliminate that crap, and all you little nations that have the weird 15-minute time zones, straighten up.
No, if somebody wants to personally wind up going off of a different time zone, that's fine. But when I say,
I would love to do that. How do you do it?
But when I say we're having a meeting at X time, they should show up at X time. People that are just perpetually late because they don't know how to wind up being on time, those people are just a-holes. It's not anything else.
It's clearly a disregard for other people's time. Obviously, everybody's going to be late now and then.
Right. I'm talking about the people that are perpetually late.
Yeah.
The libertarian standard time, which is people show up about 45 minutes after you tell them something starts.
I think that oftentimes social events, which maybe a libertarian event might be considered a social event to some, people aren't as they don't hold themselves to as high of a standard.
Right. And we've just wound up coming from a weekly social event called Social Sunday.
And I don't even know what time it starts.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, well, I'll take your word for it.
I look at that. If somebody's within 10 or 15 minutes, that's good enough, because it's not a set plan necessarily. You have to be here. Business starts at. But if you're having a business meeting with somebody and they show up incredibly late, they're just being an a-hole.
Well, I can tell you this as a person who I don't like to stay out particularly late, just not my thing. And often parties are, people put parties 7 to whenever, right?
Right.
And I'll often show up at 7 and end up helping them put stuff out because nobody else is there. Because nobody they didn't expect anybody to show up at 7. They had no intention of anybody showing up at 7. They just put it on the piece of paper, 7 o'clock.
Because they know that people will then start showing up by 8 o'clock.
Right. That's the sort of social, that's the other side of this coin that you're talking about,
Right.
is that people actually plan for people to be late. And here I am showing up and helping putting out the broccoli and the celery, which doesn't bother me. It gives me an opportunity.
Oh, it bothers me. Nobody should ever put broccoli and celery out.
No, they're going to do that. It's good for you. It cleans out the roughage.
But the bacon eats the broccoli and the celery.
It does. So do you. Does that mean you want people to smoke you and eat you?
I don't eat the broccoli and the celery. I eat the bacon that ate the broccoli and the celery.
I see, but other people do. Do you want to eat vegans?
No.
Go ahead.
There isn't much meat on most of them, and I'm not a cannibal.
Oh, I don't know his name, but one of the U.S. Olympic weightlifters, I think he was kind of tops in his field in the U.S., was vegan. I was amazed.
He must plan he must spend all of his time on meals, would be my thought, is you really have to plan your protein if that's going to be the case.
There are I know some of the weightlifting events, they have weight classes. So if you're, say 140 pounds, you're not competing against the guy that weighs 280 pounds.
Makes sense.
So ABC News has some advice on how to help your body adjust to the shifting of the clocks. They say eat dinner earlier. Dinner being the evening meal. I know growing up down south, half the people thought dinner was the noon meal.
Supper,
the other half thought that dinner was the evening meal.
Supper, yeah.
So whatever the last meal that you eat of the day, eat that a little bit earlier because our sleep cycle is impacted by our appetite. They say eating earlier if you want extra shut-eye. And I'm not even going to try pronouncing this first name. Dr. Rodriguez, who's an assistant professor in the neurology department at New York University at Langone Comprehensive Epilepsy Center Sleep Center, said finishing dinner an hour earlier than normal will help prime you to go to bed earlier. He says we have a circadian rhythm that is coinciding with the times that we eat. We need to coincide our sleep pattern with our eating pattern. They also recommend
you can
using...
control that pretty easily. You could decide I'm going to eat a little early.
Right.
And even if you don't eat as large of a meal because you're not as hungry, so what? You just ate less food. You chubby, you chubby problem eater, go ahead. You eat a little less.
They say use a light box to ease into the day. Shifting an hour will mean more light at the end of the day.
Who stands in front of a box? I don't get it. These whole light things, they don't make any sense. Maybe if you're sitting at work or something and you need a little extra sunlight and turning that on may make some sense. But, I'm on the move. I don't have time for your light boxes.
Yeah, I don't even know what a light box is. They don't explain it in this article. They just say that it can help you.
It's a light that's specially designed to look like daylight, and it has reflective, basically mirrors on one side to reflect the light towards your eyes.
And here's just general all-around good advice if you have trouble sleeping. Avoid screens before you go to bed.
Oh, I like...
Don't look at, these chromed robots and your laptop and your TV because the lights from those wind up, just affecting you, and then it makes it harder for you to sleep.
I hear them say that, but don't most people look at those things until they brush their teeth and go to bed?
I don't know
That's
if
when I
most
look at screens.
people, but a lot of people will look at their phone while laying in bed. I can't fall asleep. I'm going to check Facebook. And then 2 hours later, they still can't fall asleep because the lights and everything.
I see.
So experts here advise the sleep-deprived to avoid screens before bed, but the advice is even more important when DST kicks in. And I've heard you should avoid the screens for at least half an hour, if not an hour.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Before you go to bed.
They'll just keep on. If you would do it for an hour, they'll just tell you to do it for 2. That pretty soon the doctors will be like, just don't touch screens. Screens make you not sleep no more. So I don't think, here's what you should do. You should you should do that sweet lovemaking with your significant other. That'll help you go to sleep.
Or it might just give you more energy.
Yeah, well, no.
Maybe.
Designed. That's how the autonomic nervous system works.
Yeah, maybe not.
Go ahead with the article.
No, that's basically it.
Okay.
They do mention one other thing that, it's too late now to take a nap the day before you change the clocks.
It's never too late for a nap, Darryl. Never too late for a nap.
But we're in the middle of a radio show. I can't take a nap right now.
So, I guess when it comes to daylight shifting time, I'm happy that it seems to be a fad that's going away.
Yes.
But I think it's interesting. Indiana just got rid of theirs. It was relatively recently, within the last 10 years or so. And obviously they saw some advantage to being on the same time as everybody else.
Yeah, Indiana got rid of, or rather they started using DST in 2006.
Okay.
To where prior to that, they were not changing, except there were a couple of parts of the state that were, because there's a couple parts of the state that are closer to other.
Yeah.
Right. So there's the part that Chicagoland that I think is actually in a different time zone anyway, and it was really confusing.
Yeah, it's really confusing. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
And they need to better draw this particular map, and places need to be able to choose as to which time zone that's going to work for them. But you're still interacting no matter what. If Florida and Massachusetts and Maine and New Hampshire and wherever decide we're going to do Atlantic Standard Time, well, they still have to figure out what's going, because New York City and Washington, D.C. and most of the major cities with whom we interact are going to be on Eastern Time. You're going to have to be able to figure out what's going on. Are they on Eastern Daylight Time? Are they on Eastern Standard Time?
Right, but people in Arizona, they're right next to California. There are people in L.A. that do business in Phoenix and vice versa, and they've got to figure this math out.
Yep.
It's not that difficult. It really isn't.
Indeed, it can be done. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
ID Stronghold wallets are different. They may look the same on the outside. They're stylish, they'll hold your cards and cash, but they're hiding something great on the inside. No, there are no pyrotechnics, and it doesn't sing when you open it. But it does have magical powers. ID Stronghold wallets protect your critical information and identity from thieves standing right next to you. Anyone can buy a cheap RFID scanner online and snag your information just by walking past you. Contactless credit cards, debit cards, even your work ID badge. ID Stronghold was the first to pioneer RFID blocking technology over 12 years ago. ID Stronghold's wallets, sleeves, and badge holders are trusted by the U.S. military and the Executive Office of the President, something the competitors can't say. Secure your identity and save 10% by using coupon code MAGIC at checkout for a limited time at idstronghold.com. idstronghold.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, March 10th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.59 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,324 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $25, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,165. Antiwar.com reports issuing a statement on Twitter overnight. President Trump said that a meeting with North Korea's Kim Jong-un is in the process of being planned, but that in the meantime, U.S. sanctions against North Korea will all remain in place until a final agreement is reached. Administration officials are presenting this as part of a general need to maintain maximum pressure throughout the talks. This reflects a position within the government that the talks themselves are vindications of U.S. sanctions and threats. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said as much during his visit to Kenya on Friday that the talks showed the policy we've put in place and executed by the State Department has succeeded. This policy involved decades of mounting sanctions and acrimony. While the talks are a huge significant achievement, the administration may be making some fallacious connections and believing North Korea's invitation to meet is a product of the last year of mounting tensions, as opposed to a few weeks of very positive diplomatic progress between North and South Korea, and South Korea trying to steer both sides towards talks. Since there's no sign North Korea was pushing for sanctioned relief anyhow, this isn't necessarily an obstacle. Rather, North Korea's goal has always been to make a deal that avoids a U.S. military strike. While North Korean officials have at times expressed anger at the imposition of new sanctions, they've never made easing sanctions a priority. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports migrants separated from their children after they were detained for illegally entering or remaining in the United States filed a class action lawsuit on Friday claiming there are hundreds of parents in the same situation and that the Trump administration is violating their due process rights. The lawsuit, brought by the American Civil Liberties Union and filed in U.S. District Court in Southern California, expands on the claim of a single Congolese asylum seeker filed last week. Miss L, as she is referred to in the complaint, has been detained in San Diego while her 7-year-old daughter was sent to Chicago 4 months ago by federal authorities. But on Tuesday, just days after the initial lawsuit was filed, Miss L was released. The class action seeks to represent all adult parents in immigration custody who have a minor child separated from them without a hearing to prove the parent is unfit to care for the child. The DOJ declined to comment on pending litigation. The Department of Homeland Security said that it does not currently have a policy of separating families, but that it does do so at times if a child may be at risk. Tyler Holton, a DHS spokesman, said in a statement, "There have been numerous intelligence reports and cases where kids have been used and trafficked by unrelated adults in an effort to avoid detention. If we are able to confirm this relationship, we must take steps to protect this child." In the class action complaint, Miss L is joined by another anonymous lead plaintiff, Miss C, who is a woman from Brazil who crossed the border and told officials she hoped to apply for asylum in the United States. She was prosecuted on a misdemeanor charge of entering the country illegally and served a 25-day sentence in jail, while her 14-year-old son was sent to a facility in Chicago, according to the lawsuit. On September 22nd, she was transferred to immigration detention in Texas and still has not been able to reunite with her son. The administration has floated the idea of separating families at the border in an attempt to deter migration, but Democratic lawmakers have spoken out against that idea, and the American Academy of Pediatrics said in a statement that family separation measures are harsh and counterproductive. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organization to show up in an emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT NoGov license. Cell 411, because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Japan grants suffrage to female robots. And a hypochondriac maple tree is always convinced it has Asian longhorn beetles. The following 2 statements are true. The previous statement is false, and this is the Onion Week in Review. This week, Americans nationwide were stunned to hear horrific allegations on Wall Street revealing that numerous junior bankers have been forced to survive on a mere $6,800 per week. The findings, which implicate numerous high-profile financial institutions such as Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Citibank, suggest that hundreds of first-year bankers are constantly deprived of basic necessities, including penthouse apartments overlooking Central Park and regular company-financed vacations to the French Riviera.
Many of these bankers are 23 or 24 years old and don't even have access to an expense account of over $50,000 a year. Not only that, but some of them are making as little as 20 times minimum wage. I mean, this is truly disgraceful.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. The number 855-450-3733. We were talking about time zones and what's it called? Daylight shifting time.
That's what I call it because people always want to pluralize saving and daylight saving.
And there's no saving of anything.
You're not saving anything. You are shifting daylight.
I think it's
daylight shifting is a much better term to describe what is being done.
I would agree. And we talked about all that stuff in the last hour, and you're certainly welcome to call in and talk about that at 855-450-3733 or the Skype lines. Our username is LRN.FM. But one thing I've always kind of wondered about is the world's it gets more and more different every year. There are people that live on boats. There are people that live in motorhomes. There are people that live in different places. Like, so for half the year they're in Michigan, half the year they're in Arizona. There's all kinds of different lifestyles that are going on, and laws don't really keep up real well. Is your motorhome your car or whatever, if that's where you live, is that your house?
Well, it could be. And there was a decision not too long ago, story coming from Fox 13 in Memphis, even though the story is out of Seattle. A Seattle man is celebrating after a judge ruled that the truck he's been living in is his home and the city cannot sell it to pay off a hefty parking ticket and other fines. The ruling could affect hundreds of homeless that live in their vehicles. The judge's ruling is based on a 123-year-old Homestead Act that says the government cannot force anyone to sell their home to satisfy a debt. This is apparently the first time anyone had successfully argued that a vehicle can be a home. Stephen Long has lived in his truck on the streets of Seattle since 2014, but last year, when his truck was parked on Poplar Street South for 5 months, the city impounded it. He said living outside took a toll. He says, I had 8 colds that year and pneumonia to boot, and I normally only have 1 or 2 colds a year.
So did his vehicle break down? He couldn't move it off Poplar Street? 5 months
it doesn't say
is a problem.
There's a story that I'm looking at where he did make that claim. It had broken down and he couldn't move it.
It doesn't surprise me.
He's not alone. A 2017 survey by the nonprofit All Home counted more than 5,400 people living on the streets of Seattle, nearly half of them living in their vehicles. Columbia Legal Services
Are you really living on the streets if you're living in your vehicle?
Well, you are not living in a permanent affixed dwelling. Your vehicle is parked presumably either on a street or in a parking lot. You are not necessarily quote unquote on the streets, but the dwelling or the thing that you sleep in is on a street.
It's in closer proximity to a street than, say, a house, which is sitting next to the street, whereas the vehicle is sitting on the street. I don't know. I mean, it seems, these different varying degrees of what is homelessness.
Right. And more, I think homelessness would be more appropriately called houseless.
Okay.
Because someone, depending on, and we had the conversation earlier about what defines one's home. Someone who goes from apartment to apartment and changes apartment, say, every 6, 9, 12 months. Do they really have a home? They have something akin to a house, maybe, but they don't necessarily have a home.
Well, what about people who snowbird? Half the year they're in Florida, half the year they're in Chicagoland. You never know what, there's different things that benefit you living different places. So, for instance, maybe you want your car insurance in Florida. Maybe you want your cell phone plan in Chicago. I don't know. Maybe you want to...
Right, and
my residency should be in Florida, so I don't have to pay the income tax in Illinois, and, all these kinds of things that go, these calculations.
Right, and there are actually websites dedicated to helping people figure out, where the best place is for them to have one or more residences. Because there are various reasons why you might want to have multiple residencies. And one can have multiple residencies, but one can only have one domicile. And then trying to figure out which one of the 4 residencies is the domicile. And then that gets into another huge set of questions that really only the legislators in the state of New Hampshire are trying to battle with, because New Hampshire is the only state that does not require residency to vote. It only requires domicile. And they say, well, we don't want to prevent the snowbirds from voting. We just want to keep the college students. And we don't want to prevent the homeless, even though the homeless might not have a residence anywhere. There's no obligation under any law to have a residence anywhere, but everyone has a domicile.
Interesting.
Continuing on here.
Before you go on, let me take the phone line here. So I'm going to do my very best. First time pushing in on the Skype here. Dave in New Hampshire. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, Darryl.
What's up?
How's it going? Johnny's also here.
Hey, Jonny Ray.
Dave.
How have you been? I'm sorry. This is all starting to sound too social.
So what's on your mind, Dave?
Well, I have some more New Hampshire news to report. I have been kicked out of a Keene government meeting.
Really?
I didn't do it.
We thought that was only Ian that did that. All right.
This was actually, it happened about 2 weeks ago. I didn't call about it until now because I wanted to upload a few of the videos first. The series is not done uploading yet, but it took there's quite a few minutes of tape that are involved in this, basically.
Okay. So give us some idea what happened.
So I went to Keene State College. This would have been around February 27th. And they were having a thing called, I think it's the city, I forget the order of it. It's the City College Commission, or maybe it's the College City Commission, College/City Commission, something like that.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, I'm aware that it's a thing. I don't know exactly what they do other than we need to try to find ways for the city and the college to work together.
This one was a little bit more political and a little bit more hot button, but not by much. They were going to hear an inclusiveness report, and I had some questions about that. And I've been wanting for a long time to question college officials about this thing where they ordered Ian Freeman you and Ian Freeman, Darryl and Ian were trying to hand out flyers and use a megaphone. And both of you got you weren't even doing anything, Darryl. You were just there. I guess you both got a no trespass order for doing that.
But those were then rescinded a couple months later, although we didn't find out for about 6 months.
Okay. Well, anyway, I wanted to ask about that. They still did it. I mean, whether they rescinded it or not, you can't just pretend like it didn't happen.
I'm not pretending that it didn't happen. I'm just pointing out that I'm now allowed onto the campus and had been for a while longer.
They can't just pretend like they didn't do it. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, and so I wanted to ask officials about that. And I'm not interested in asking them by email. I don't want to call them. I want to be there right in front of them and capture their reactions on camera when I ask them about their policies. And so I interviewed a few people going into the meeting. There were some city officials, there's some Keene State College officials. It was on the grounds of Keene State College, and one of the Keene officials was actually really nice and said, "Yeah, you're welcome to be here. There's no issue." But yeah, one of the college people apparently
turns out there was an issue. Hold the line here for just a second, Dave. The number 855-450-3733. This happens across America. This isn't just specific to New Hampshire. Is that they act like you're supposed to come to this community event and participate and give us opinions that we like. If
it's
you give us
open to the public, just not you.
Right, the public, just not you. 855-450-3733.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. I'm going to get back to Dave in New Hampshire here on the Skype lines in just a moment, but I want to tell you about my Blink Home security system. It was delivered right to my door. All I had to do was download the app right there on my Wi-Fi system. Had it, it walked me right through the easy setup. With my complicated router system, I was still done in like 10 minutes. And now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the cameras during the times that I have them set up to. Otherwise, I'm doing all the time. And for instance, some of the time I'm not at my house. Darryl's house sits for me. Thank you, Darryl.
You're welcome.
And, I just turn it off. I just switch the little cameras right off so I don't have to see Darryl running around in his undies, getting out of the shower, or whatever's going on there.
Or the cat butt.
Right. There's lots of, still get lots of videos of cats because there's places of the house where there's cameras where you may not even know there are cameras.
Right.
And the cat still goes to those places and does cat things at cat times. But anyway, you can get 3 Blink cams for the price that other guys charge you for one camera. Just visit blinkprotect.com and use coupon code FTL to receive 10% off your order. It's blinkprotect.com. Coupon code FTL. I'll tell you, this is a fast and easy way to get security in your home and have a video of things that might have occurred there. Blinkprotect.com, coupon code FTL. So let's go back to Dave calling in about how he got kicked out of some kind of city event here in Keene, New Hampshire. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, now I do want to make clear, I was on the outskirts of the event. Like I was, 3 meters away from the event trying to interview bureaucrats on the way in. I should have actually gone in at some point because it gets complicated. It would be better to say I was kicked out of the inskirts of the meeting than the outskirts. But in any case, I would have gone in later if all these events hadn't happened. What happened is it sounded like one of the people in the meeting room said they were going to call security, and so about 15 minutes later, security did show up. I got to do more interviews meanwhile, and security told me they wanted to know who I was, and I'd already identified myself to one of the college bureaucrats at least, and probably a couple other people, and I had a name tag on. It says RidleyReport.com, and I don't know what his status is legally. Is he, I don't know if he's considered a cop or just security. Is he able to force me to provide identification or identify myself? I refused to identify myself to him.
Okay.
So we went round and round about this verbally, and he just said, well, you can identify yourself to the Keene Police Department then. So he called them. And we just sat there, staring at each other basically for about 10, 15 minutes. And again, this was the period of time where I should have just gone ahead and gone into the meeting but I was interested in this security guy because he was trying to make me do things. So the police department eventually showed up and they said, yes, he can kick you out. They knew who I was. They just said, "Are you Dave?" And I said, "Yes." Maybe I shouldn't have. I'm not sure. I should have at least probably interrogated them about whether they had any kind of probable cause to even ask me my name.
Call me Dave.
Dave's not here, man.
But anyway, so they eventually decided, okay, so it's really, you didn't identify yourself to this guy at that particular moment, even though you've identified yourself 3 different times, basically. You didn't identify yourself at this one particular point in time. So it's up to that guy whether he kicks you out, the security guy. So he said, oh, yeah, I'm kicking you out. So I just did the usual thing where I walked backwards slowly toward the exit of the building. And it would have taken me 6 hours to leave at that speed if I'd gone the whole speed, or maybe not 6 hours, but probably a full hour to leave if I'd left the whole college at that speed. So eventually I just turned around and kept moving. And at that point...
It's good. That way you won't trip.
Yeah, then I started just leaving normally after, my slow protest departure because there was nothing to film. So I started leaving normally, and then the Keene Police Department appears again and started barking new orders at me.
Oh, what were the orders?
You'll have to watch the video.
I see. And where would people find the video?
RidleyReport.com.
So, Dave, this is something that people across America deal with all the time. People that, for whatever reason, they end up at some city or county or municipal or whatever event, and the public is welcome. It's open to the public. Public, comments are welcome until you start... your voice is the wrong tone, you're standing in the wrong place, you're like just a whole bunch of things, and at some point or another they'll figure out, we just don't want you here, get out. Nobody ever comes to these events. Why are you here? You invited me here. They told me I'm the government when in civics class they said we the people are the government, and I'm part of the people, I think. How come I don't get to have an opinion? Because you don't have anything to do with this, get out. And they hassle them and do all kinds of stuff. This happens everywhere. How should people handle it? What should they be doing? Should they just ignore these people or what?
Yeah, one thing is to get video. There are other people who think that you should use the legal process, and I could eviscerate the government by using their legal process or by proposing bills at the State House and so forth. It'd be easy to exercise that power, but that costs taxpayers money, so I've been reluctant to do it over the years for the most part. I would like to see more people just, going to more meetings and getting the video in the first place. And very few people, I can't find anyone else that really seems to want to do ambush interviews, maybe unless I pay them to do it.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable feeling to do those ambush interviews. They're neat to watch.
It's a real rush, actually. Yes, people can also go and film the meetings. That's useful as well. I think probably people focus too much on that as opposed to the outskirts of the meetings and just confronting these officials, if nothing else, about the fact that they're eating up tax dollars.
Yeah, what are the kind of things that you ask them when you get these ambush interviews? Do you have a list of questions you're ready for for an individual person, or do you have just kind of boilerplate questions you ask these people?
Usually a mix. I'd rather have questions about to ask an individual about something that they've done that's an act of aggression against other people. And that's a little bit harder to find because you don't know often who exactly is going to be at a meeting. You're guessing. And if I were to, like Elizabeth Dragan goes to these meetings, she's the city manager. She goes to them sometimes.
City manager of what? Keene?
Keene, yeah.
City manager.
Shows what I know.
I could have come up with some questions for her maybe, but I didn't know she was going to be there or not. So I didn't, it's best not to spend too much time running up a list of questions for someone who might not even be there.
Cool. So it's RidleyReport.com. Thanks so much for the call, Dave.
Guys.
855-450-3733. Phone lines are open. And Dave's now off the Skype line, so you can call in a Skype. Our username is LRN.FM.
So let's get back into the story here about the victory of sorts for a homeless man in Seattle, where the judge said, no, you're not actually homeless. Your house, or rather your truck, is your home.
855-450-FREE, Free Talk Live. What should a home be, here in America? What was a home? Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
Tired of being censored by Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Patreon? Well, now you don't have to be. OneWay.com is the free speech and human-friendly social network built just for you. Stop feeding the beast. Every post you make on those evil, anti-human, anti-American perverted sites helps them destroy our families, our country, and our souls. Join One Way today and take back your liberty. Your free speech alternative is waiting for you at OneWay.com. OneWay.com.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
If you're looking for work, you know the math. There are many more applicants than openings, so you need to stand out, not blend into the blah, blah, blah your interviewer is hearing from your competition. Here's a tip. In your interview, you will be judged more by the questions you ask than the answers you give. Yes, do anticipate the obvious job interview questions and prepare concise, insightful, glass-half-full sounding responses. And you should interview your interviewer. Seem genuinely curious about what will help get results. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. You want to cut through the clutter. For more tips for job seekers and making all the other conversations you have more productive, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live.
Do you guys have a zombie plan? I'm just wondering what this country's going to do if we had some sort of apocalypse like that.
Like a zombie attack.
Do?
People coming out of the ground, like in Thriller, like in Michael Jackson's
like 28
Thriller.
days later, like a virus or something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, people don't come back to life.
Well, now, there are different kinds of zombies out there.
Now,
but let me go through the types of zombies. I mean, you've got the ones that can crawl out of the ground, right? And then she was talking about like an infection kind of zombie, like a la Resident Evil, for instance. So ideally, if you're going to have to perish at the hands of a zombie, which would be the preference? Would you prefer to have your brains eaten, or would you prefer to become one of them?
I think I'd rather just die. The last thing I'd want is, of course, the people you split up with. Then I'm talking my wife and my child. I'm coming back. I'm wanting to eat Laura's brains. It's bad. It's bad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Yeah!
855-450-3733. It's 855-450 free here on Free Talk Live. That last four digits spell out the word free. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
855-450-3733. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash is one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written right into the white paper, no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. I'm pretty happy about this cryptocurrency and their private coin that they have, zencash.com. So, Jonny Ray, Darryl, what constitutes a house?
Well, what constitutes a house and what constitutes a home are completely different things. House is generally something that is not mobile, whereas a home, according to at least to a Seattle judge, could include an automobile if that's what you live in. Again,
it doesn't seem very comfy, but I had a friend who's he wasn't a poor man. He just didn't want to have to deal with a house, and so he lived in his Toyota Prius, and he'd just lean it back and go to sleep, and then he'd park it at work, and he had a plug. It was a plug-in Prius, so he could sort of run the climate control, and he had a little entertainment system built right in. He was in fine shape. Let's go to Dana calling in from Grand Rapids. Dana, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind, Dana?
Hi, guys. I just wanted to give a suggestion to Dave, the last caller.
Yeah.
He was talking about, I love those ambush videos because if nothing else, you see how stupid these people sound because all of their answers are canned, just like canned laughter on sitcoms. If you catch them off guard, either you're going to embarrass them or they're going to say something stupid like, oh, maybe the truth. And Pelosi is a great one for that, even though I know Dave was doing local government. But
I'd love to get Dave in front of Nancy Pelosi. That'd be great.
Oh, I know. Who said that, Mark?
Yeah.
I know. And by the way, I just want to interject. I've said it before, Mark, but it just wasn't the same when you were gone. Thank you. For whatever reason, you were brought back to us. So thank you. But here's my suggestion.
Ian had to sign a contract in blood for his firstborn. It's fine.
Oh.
And considering
Mark,
he's had a
I love
vasectomy,
you.
I guess.
He's had a vasectomy, yes. I just want to make him bleed. Go ahead, Dana.
Okay, so here's my suggestion to Dave. Project Veritas. I believe that gentleman's name is Jim, and
I can't remember his
Jim
name.
or James he goes by.
James
even
McKeith?
though it's not
O'Keefe?
ambush videos, his videos are undercover, and no matter how many times he does them, these stupid people keep falling for them. So maybe he can give some pointers or help out Dave in his quest of ambush videos. What do you think about that, guys?
Well, Dave does his videos like he holds a camera right up there. These people know that they're being recorded at any
Dave
given time.
also doesn't selectively edit his videos to make it appear as though the person said something worse than what they actually said.
I didn't see that part on O'Keefe, but anyway. I've heard
that there are times where O'Keefe will cut out him asking a question, and he'll have where he asks one question, and then their answer to something completely different.
Huh. Oh, well, that's interesting.
I know that he's been accused of that, but with the whole selling baby parts on the abortion thing, I did quite a bit of research on that. Those videos, in fact, were not doctored, so I'm not sure what ones you're talking about.
I'm talking more about the alleged voter fraud videos that he's put out, and that other people have put out under his website.
It makes perfectly good sense that if they were doing, abortions, that they're going to sell the product that they have reaped through whatever it is that they do.
Right.
I don't know. It's all very macabre, but at the same time, if medical science can benefit from it, I totally can see them doing that.
Right. I get what they were thinking. I don't agree with it. It's not only against our laws, but it's against God's laws. But so is the whole abortion thing to start with. That said, there were at least 2 that I did my research on that were buying the body parts from Planned Parenthood, and they pulled away because of the negative response. So if that isn't an admission that James O'Keefe's work was spot on, then what is? When the actual recipients, the companies that bought from Planned Parenthood, 2 of them backed off. So, but about the voter fraud thing, you know what? I'm not going to say that he changed, he edited the responses, but I will say this, that there have been politicians on the left, or at least people on the left, that have openly admitted that they've bussed in people who are non-citizens to vote. And non-citizens themselves have said, oh, I voted umpteen times. I kept going back and back and back.
Where are these videos? I've never seen anything like that. Not to say that it does.
Go
ahead.
Just pull up some, Google. I can't remember what I started with, my first search, because a lot of this stuff is buried. I'm not talking in the dark web or the deep web, but I'm talking about just you have to do multiple searches. Sometimes just change a word and it changes the search results. But I think I did citizens bragging or non-citizens, citizens and non-citizens bragging that they voted multiple times. So it has happened. And it's happened, unfortunately, for the right, it's happened more on the left. So
thanks for the call, Dana. I appreciate it.
That I disagree that, that with what whoever said that O'Keefe has doctored some of the voter fraud things. But it is going on because look at all the cities. Trump tried to get the cities to turn in their voter rolls so they could check them against dead people. And most of the
I've got to
cities,
say,
like Chicago,
I wouldn't give if the state of New Hampshire was on this list of places that Trump wanted, information from. And from a state sovereignty standpoint, the Constitution doesn't have any requirement that the federal government go checking our votes. I wouldn't have allowed that either. If I was the Secretary of State here, I told him to go take a long walk off a short pier.
There are claims by a bunch of Republican state reps that I have seen buses with out-of-state license plates bringing people in. All right, excellent. Did you take pictures? No.
It would be a good
idea.
idea.
So people make claims, but there's no photographic evidence to support any of these claims.
Thank you for the call, Dana.
And I'm not going to say that there aren't videos online of somebody saying, I voted illegally, but if you were, let's just say, Mark, that you were a conservative.
I have voted illegally.
Hold on. Let's just say.
I can tell you I have.
That's not where I was going. Let's just say that you're a conservative that wants to put out a video proving voter fraud. And you find somebody with some brown skin and you say, hey, I'll give you $100 to say this on camera. You've got video of somebody saying something. It doesn't mean that they're telling the truth necessarily.
I'll tell you about my illegal voting. So in Florida, they have a rule against felons voting. Well,
unless you beg the governor for permission.
Well, at the time, it was all felons. This was in the late 90s. And I registered to vote, and I voted in my district. And then they kicked me off the voter rolls. And then I went and registered to vote at a friend's house. And I voted in that area. And then they kicked me off the voter rolls again. And so at that point, when I registered at a friend's house, that wasn't actually my residence at the time or that I voted. So therefore, it would have been considered an illegal vote. I just wanted to be able to vote. You people collect my taxes. I want to be able to vote, too. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live, the number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We're talking about a ruling from a judge apparently is saying now that you don't have to have a house to have a home. And I've always thought this was kind of interesting because, like, what about people who live in RVs all the time? Where's their residency?
Well, now you're asking a completely different question.
Well, I guess
because
this is my
residency
question.
and home are not necessarily the same thing. Residency is a fixed place.
My big concern is this. I know that a police officer has a much lower threshold to be able to search your vehicle than they do to search your house.
Correct. And courts have interpreted that RVs are considered to be homes in that sense as far as searches go.
But what defines an RV, though? What is an RV by definition?
I don't have the legal definitions in front of me.
I'm just curious as to what, I mean, what's a bed? Does it have to have a bed? What's a bed? Is a bed I know
how large does a bed have to be? Because a baby bed is by definition a bed, but could a futon also be
What if a seat just flattens out? Is that a bed?
Which you guys, this line of discussion illustrates the dangerous fantasy of the rule of law. The English language is
horrible.
It's incapable, or any spoken language is incapable of perfectly describing any kind of idea or thing or anything at all. And there are some people like Darryl W. Perry who delight in in knowing what the prevailing opinions are and legal definitions and so forth.
Because I want to know what I can and can't do without some goon with a gun and handcuffs throwing me in a cage saying that I violated something.
Sure, and that's valuable to have, but I want all the people to understand that the rule of law is a silly goal, and it's unachievable for the simple fact that like I said, the English language can't perfectly describe anything, and in fact, people are able to conduct their affairs without the law, the synthetic law, telling them what everything is.
I would say that for people that would say that that you don't want to make the perfect the enemy of the good is it's colloquialism out there.
Sure.
I would further say that the rule of law is clearly and demonstrably does not exist in the United States or anywhere when you can see that politicians, like Charlie Rangel, for instance, get censured for not filing his taxes and doing his taxes properly. You get thrown in jail. When you know that police officers don't pull over other police officers for rolling through stop signs, they treat you differently than they treat themselves. They're a different class of citizen.
Well, we're consistently told that police officers have discretion. Prosecutors have discretion. Judges have discretion. Which then means that we're a nation of people with discretion, not a nation of laws.
Folks who the nature of the state is that they control you through violence, and people accept it because they're told, well, there's these laws that are in black and white, and everybody has to obey the laws, and the laws are not people. You're not ruled by people, you're ruled by the law, but in fact you're ruled by the people who are using the law as a tool and can make the law say one thing on Monday and make the law say another thing on Wednesday.
Right, and in this case we have a judge using a 123-year-old law called the Homestead Act that in essence says the government can't force anyone to sell their home to satisfy a debt. In this case, homeless man in Seattle had his truck that the judge deemed to be his home. Truck was impounded. His lawyer from the Columbia Legal Services says it's one thing, or rather it's the one first big victory in the area of vehicle residency in particular. The lawyer, Ann Lagerfo, says so the impound system, where there's an impound, you can't just get your vehicle and here a house. You can't get it out until you pay hefty fines, which violates the Homestead Act. The city, however, argues that impounding the vehicle did not constitute a forced sale of a home. Moreover, the courts have consistently held that there is no constitutional right to housing. The city attorney would not talk on camera, but did issue a statement saying the city disagrees with the trial court's ruling and is evaluating its options.
I got to say, I feel for the city in this circumstance. So some bum has a vehicle in which he sleeps that is broken down on, what is it, Bleecker Street? What's the name of the place?
Poplar Street.
Poplar Street, right? Like, there's a junk car on Poplar Street that this bum is living in, and there's nothing the city can do about it because he sleeps there at night.
Yeah, they lifted up a tarp over the bed of his truck, I think, and found some meth in there. But now the charges that they levied against him cannot be sustained because they didn't because it was his home and it was an illegal search.
So in this case, the judge said that the city can still ticket someone for parking a vehicle for more than 72 hours, but they cannot impound it if it is their home.
So that means the ticket is of no value.
No, the ticket is still of value because you can't renew your vehicle registration if you have outstanding tickets.
What if the registration's bad? It's still his home, right?
Right.
At what point can you finally get this junk vehicle off the street? Look, I understand.
So you're arguing in favor of the city, saying that no one has a constitutional right to live in a house. No one has a constitutional right to a dwelling. We can tear the roof off of your house if we want to because we passed a law saying that you can't use the type of shingles that you have.
What if I just go and build a house in one of the parking spaces on Poplar Street? What if I just start erecting a house? I mean, this is...
Do you control the parking space?
He did, obviously, when he parked there. I mean, this is the difficulty, is you have to have some kind of functional way to manage the right of way. And I'm not saying the government is necessarily the way to do it, but government is the way we're doing it. And
unfortunately, that is the way that it's being done.
Yeah, look, if these are, let's just say these are parallel. I don't know. I have not been to Poplar Street in Seattle. As a matter of fact, I've never been to Seattle, nor have I been to Washington. So I don't know what's going on there. But I can say this, is there are streets in America where parking spaces are out in front of people's homes. So, this is often a really great way to sort of slow traffic down on a street because they'll go slower than speed bumps if they just have parking on the street. But if this guy's parked out in front of my house with his rolling meth lab that doesn't run, I want him off the street. I want him, he should have to move his vehicle every X amount of period of time in order to, I'm not saying he can't sleep in it. I'm not saying that he can't live in his vehicle. I can't say he can park on the streets or anything like that. All I'm saying is he can't just park there for 6 months in a derelict vehicle that doesn't run and run a meth lab.
Sure. The answer, of course, is private property. And in the United States, we sort of have a quasi-private property in people's homes that is overlaid with this socialistic net of streets. And that's, if everything was private.
The streets are by definition socialism.
Oh, sure.
By its very definition, they're socialist. Yes.
And so people who would not be able to come onto your property because you were there and you cared about your own property. They've got this street out front that everybody owns.
Except you have to mow the part of the right-of-way that comes up to the street, right? Like streets say 25 feet from the center line or whatever, but the road itself is only 15 feet from the inner. So there's 10 feet from the center line that's your yard and like a sidewalk or whatever. You can't just choose not to mow that.
So Poplar Street, I'm looking on Google Maps.
Okay.
Wait, this is showing me a completely different Poplar Street.
There's
Never
two
mind.
Poplar Streets in Seattle?
No, this is showing me Poplar Street in a completely different place, not Seattle, even though I did a search for Poplar Street, Seattle.
Yes, well, that's how these things go. But there's plenty of people all across America that have to deal with parking that are out front of their house where somebody's car who is not their own is parked out in front of their street. And in residential areas, people can get a little huffy about this. For instance, if there's a New Year's Eve party or something like that at one particular house and people are parking up and down the street, sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I don't want you parking out in front of my house." Well, too bad. This is where we're parking. We can park here. There's no rule against parallel parking out on the street in front of your house. This is where I'm going to park. But you can't just be there for 6 months. That's ridiculous. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733 here on Free Talk Live. I'd love to hear your opinion on this topic. Am I destroying the rule of law in Western civilization here?
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
You're right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, March 10th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.59 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,324 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $25, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,165. Antiwar.com reports issuing a statement on Twitter overnight. President Trump said that a meeting with North Korea's Kim Jong-un is in the process of being planned, but that in the meantime, U.S. sanctions against North Korea will all remain in place until a final agreement is reached. Administration officials are presenting this as part of a general need to maintain maximum pressure throughout the talks. This reflects a position within the government that the talks themselves are vindications of U.S. sanctions and threats. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said as much during his visit to Kenya on Friday that the talks showed the policy we've put in place and executed by the State Department has succeeded. This policy involved decades of mounting sanctions and acrimony. While the talks are a huge, significant achievement, the administration may be making some fallacious connections and believing North Korea's invitation to meet is a product of the last year of mounting tensions, as opposed to a few weeks of very positive diplomatic progress between North and South Korea, and South Korea trying to steer both sides towards talks. Since there's no sign North Korea was pushing for sanctions relief anyhow, this isn't necessarily an obstacle. Rather, North Korea's goal has always been to make a deal that avoids a U.S. military strike. While North Korean officials have at times expressed anger at the imposition of new sanctions, they've never made easing sanctions a priority. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports migrants separated from their children after they were detained for illegally entering or remaining in the United States filed a class action lawsuit on Friday claiming there are hundreds of parents in the same situation and that the Trump administration is violating their due process rights. The lawsuit, brought by the American Civil Liberties Union and filed in U.S. District Court in Southern California, expands on the claim of a single Congolese asylum seeker filed last week. Miss L, as she is referred to in the complaint, has been detained in San Diego while her 7-year-old daughter was sent to Chicago 4 months ago by federal authorities. But on Tuesday, just days after the initial lawsuit was filed, Miss L was released. The class action seeks to represent all adult parents in immigration custody who have a minor child separated from them without a hearing to prove the parent is unfit to care for the child. The DOJ declined to comment on pending litigation. The Department of Homeland Security said that it does not currently have a policy of separating families, but that it does do so at times if a child may be at risk. Tyler Holton, a DHS spokesman, said in a statement, "There have been numerous intelligence reports and cases where kids have been used and trafficked by unrelated adults in an effort to avoid detention. If we are able to confirm this relationship, we must take steps to protect this child." In the class action complaint, Miss L is joined by another anonymous lead plaintiff, Miss C, who is a woman from Brazil who crossed the border and told officials she hoped to apply for asylum in the United States. She was prosecuted on a misdemeanor charge of entering the country illegally and served a 25-day sentence in jail, while her 14-year-old son was sent to a facility in Chicago, according to the lawsuit. On September 22nd, she was transferred to immigration detention in Texas and still has not been able to reunite with her son. The administration has floated the idea of separating families at the border in an attempt to deter migration, but Democratic lawmakers have spoken out against that idea, and the American Academy of Pediatrics said in a statement that family separation measures are harsh and counterproductive. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organization to show up in an emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT NoGov license. Cell 411, because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Republicans back a plan for universal lawn care. And an RC car works up the courage to approach a group of girls. And now a recap of the week's news for those who like to waste their summers surfing the internet. Fall, the long-running series of shorter days and cooler nights, was canceled this week after nearly 3 billion seasons on Earth. The classic period of the year, which once occupied the coveted slot between summer and winter, will be replaced by new stifling humidity levels and near-constant sunshine. A shiny, bobbing object in the water is generating fascination among members of the fish community, who have described it as pleasingly wiggly and minnow-esque. Aquatic experts say that decisive action must be taken against the object very soon. In local news, just when 27-year-old Andrew Sheets didn't think his vacation could get any better, a rerun of Spin City came on. And in other headlines, a bee stuck between the screen and front door is going nuts. And a water skier lets go of the crossbar to greet those not currently water skiing.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. It's the final hour of the live Sunday show. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind here. It is Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
And, here on Free Talk Live, people can call in, discuss whatever it makes them happy. Jonny Ray, what was the story we're going into now with jaywalking? Is that right?
Yeah, it's a story that's been in the national press this week. Johnny Rush in Asheville, North Carolina, was accused of jaywalking and trespassing, and he got into a verbal altercation with the officers who were confronting him. He fled on foot. The officers chased him, tased him. Officers chased him, tackled him, beat him.
I'm curious about this, and I want to go into it here, but I don't want to get the whole. I don't want to get the whole story right now because I'm going to come back to you. Let's go to Zach calling in from Ithaca. Zach, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Good evening, gentlemen. I was wondering if you had heard the news about how Scientology TV will be launching tomorrow on Spectrum and all DirecTV and all major networks.
My God, really?
24-hour
Who wants to see
Scientology
that?
Programming. I do.
Okay.
I don't think for the reasons they intend. And I was wondering, do you think they're going to play Battlefield Earth continuously like TNT does Shawshank Redemption?
Baby. I mean, I guess that's their property, so they'll probably play it once a week at least.
This is kind of a testament to their totally detached from reality thinking, because this is obviously an attempt to come back against the criticism they've been getting from My Scientology Movie and Leah Remini's show and from Going Clear. But this is just going to make them look even crazier and more out of touch than they did previously.
Don't people join this religion every single week, though? I mean, they've got some kind of.
They claim that. I sincerely doubt that.
No,
I'm
there's
going to be 3 or 4 people that join anything.
You need to go to Clearwater, Florida, and see what one of their operations runs like.
Hopefully, also they'll be showing the Dianetics commercial.
Yeah,
all right. So I found an article from USA Today, and you've got to skip down a good ways in this article to get any sort of meat of what is going to be on this thing. They say according to a description in the iTunes Store, the Scientology Network's app will allow users to watch the original series Meet a Scientologist and Voices for Humanity, a program titled L. Ron Hubbard in his own voice, and Scientology Principal Films will be available. And then they talk about
not very much programming.
They talk about the Leah Remini TV show, the Scientology and the Aftermath, which that's what they talk about in the first part of the article, and then other stuff that doesn't actually talk anything about what is going to be on it other than they said it and they posted on Twitter, and here's a screenshot of the tweet.
There's going to be 9 hours a day of L. Ron Hubbard biographies. I'm not making that up. So it's going to be like the old History Channel with Hitler, except it's going to be Scientology about L. Ron Hubbard.
But
the History Channel wasn't trying to tell you that Hitler was wonderful. They were trying to say, here, look, remember this?
Misunderstood. He was an artist. He just wanted to go to art school, and people got in his way. And look what happened, L. Ron Hubbard is misunderstood in the same way.
I can't imagine that they could make some compelling content 9 hours a day, you say. I mean, if it can't be the same show. They can't show that every single day for 9 hours. So they're going to have to come up with, hundreds and hundreds of hours of original content surrounding L. Ron Hubbard. And from a biographical standpoint, it wasn't interesting when they did it with Hitler, and it's not going to be interesting with L. Ron Hubbard either.
The CBC.
He was the youngest Eagle Scout ever. He's a war hero. The man created the most wonderful way to help humanity in the history of trillions of years of existence.
You did that in 30 seconds. Now what?
The CBC says that the Scientology's website says that the network will debut at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, although it was not made clear what kind of programming they would feature. So even the Scientology TV website doesn't say what is going to be on Scientology TV.
Libertarians have talked about doing a television channel for a very long time.
There's not enough content.
That's the issue, is they don't understand that there simply is enough content. You go to cam.freetalklive.com and you watch, or what was our Discord channel at discord.freetalklive.com?
Discord is a chat room. Twitch.lrn.fm is where you see the streams.
Okay, or cam.freetalklive.com, or you can see original content, but it's boring, right? I mean, it's 3 guys in a studio looking, talking into microphones and looking at each other. I mean, there's no action here. There's no tops are getting taken off, thank goodness.
Where's Renee when you need her?
There's nothing going on. And so we have a few dozen people that chat while they, make fun of, what's Mark eating? Hey, what's he doing? This is not going to work.
And then coming up with Mark Edge conspiracy theories about that actually wasn't a Diet Cola.
Yeah.
I think this is also an indicator of how their entire mentality is stuck in the past. TV is dying, and channel 643, Scientology TV, the only reason people are going to watch it is for ironic purposes and to just monitor kind of enemy broadcasts.
Well, the article from USA Today made it sound like it was going to be a streaming app, which is not the same as broadcast over cable or satellite.
No, it's on TV. It's going to be on Spectrum. I'm contemplating signing up for cable for the first time in my adult life. Just so I can watch it.
Just get the streaming app.
TV. No, but I went into a Scientology mission on Hollywood Boulevard years back.
Hold on, Zach. There's some kind of problem.
Lord Zoltan is interfering with the internets.
Yeah, it's the psychiatrists.
Hello?
Yep, gotcha. Go ahead.
All right, good. The Thetans did not get you.
I was in L.A. I went into the Scientology mission, and they were playing this VHS tape of Tom Cruise being interviewed, and they had played it so many times there was so much static on the image you could not even make out really what was going on. So I do believe they will repeat the same programming continuously. I think if the movie Look Who's Talking, it grossed $200 million, that is an entirely Scientology take on reality, where the main character, the child, he's having thoughts and memories before he's even conceived as a sperm, and then the whole movie is from his perspective. And it's got John Travolta and Kirstie Alley. Like, I don't know how they're going to fill 24 hours of programming from now till the end of time.
I don't think they know how they're going to fill 24 hours a day of programming, because according to USA Today, their website doesn't say what the schedule's going to be. And it does say it's going to be on DirecTV, Apple TV, which is a streaming platform, Roku, streaming platform, Fire TV, streaming platform, iTunes, streaming platform, Google Play, streaming platform. So the only one of these that's not a streaming platform that they mention is DirecTV.
Zach, can you unpack something for me that you said earlier? I'm not exactly sure what you were referring to. You were talking about L. Ron Hubbard, war hero, and lauding him, and you said he invented something that was a huge civilizational advance. What was that? Scientology?
Dianetics and Scientology, bro. I mean, obviously I was being sarcastic, but from the Scientologist perspective, he is like the savior of humanity who brought this beautiful gift that was Dianetics that allows us to be freed from the spirit beatings that Xenu dropped off on Earth 75 million years ago. Like,
wasn't Scientology just like basically him trying to create a tax dodge or something? I mean, not that
his version of
I support
self-help,
every.
and when that didn't work,
What was that?
it was his version of a self-help thing, and he sent it to all the psychologists. And when they said he sounded crazy, he rebranded the entire thing as Scientology and as a religion to make money, essentially. And he ended up drinking his own Kool-Aid and really believes it. He really believed it. Now David Miscavige runs the cult. Hi, David. David really believes this gobbly-gobbly stuff, and they're following L. Ron Hubbard's instructions he left in their codices of Scientology beliefs to the letter. Like, that's why they wash windows with ammonia newspaper. It's because he said how it's supposed to be done. You can't do it any other way. You get what I'm saying?
That's insane. I mean, obviously, we're going to have window cleaning technology that goes beyond ammonia newspapers. Not that that's not a fine way
Little
to...
Windex.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Watch it tomorrow. It'll be good.
Zach, thanks for the call.
I've got better things to do.
855-450-3733. I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well,
I'm comfortable here, actually. Hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait,
now.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
What am I being detained for? You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can talk about anything you want here on Free Talk Live. You can call in and discuss whatever's on your mind. We just talked to a guy who was talking about the new Scientology television channel that's coming out, and I don't know, maybe it'll be a disaster, maybe it won't. You got me. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And for years, libertarians of all stripes have been wanting a directory of liberty-minded businesses. So we're helping to build one. Liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a tool for your community. At its core, it's a directory for events, businesses, and digital content. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social network aspect to it, too, where you can connect and share with others. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and for those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu. If you've got a business, organization, event, you should list it at Liberty.menu. Use code FTL to get a special badge. It's Liberty.menu. And it's a great site. It's the best looking one out there that's ever been trotted forth, and I'm glad that Free Talk Live is associated with it. It's Liberty.menu. Before we go on with the tasing after jaywalking story, Jonny Ray, let's go to Dave calling in from, I believe, New Mexico. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, you got me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. On your comment, Mark, you said blank is open to the public, just not you.
What is open to the public, just not me?
You earlier in the program, you were talking about Dave Ridley's experiences, and you made you formed the sentence something to the effect is. This public meeting or whatever, it's open to the public, just not you.
Right, because Dave Ridley has a tendency to be told that he's not welcome at public meetings, which leads me to believe that they're open to the public, just not Dave Ridley and just not anybody else that they deemed that they don't want at their public meeting.
Exactly, and I can relate entirely. My brief list is I've been banned from the district courthouse. I'm not allowed to use it to file any papers whatsoever. I can't enter it, which Mark, you said last night is unconstitutional, and yes, you're right. I've been banned from the free community legal clinics that they do every year, twice, 2 different locations. Each time I show up, they have called the cops and escorted me away. One time telling Albuquerque police that I told them that I had a bomb, and they quickly changed their story when I started to go down that path as to what kind of defamation that was going to be. I've been banned from the UNM, University of New Mexico Law Library, and I've been banned from the University of New Mexico radio station as a caller. I cannot call in and comment or question anything on any of their call-in programs. I was banned from a Midtown athletic club in Albuquerque because the lawyer that was trafficking my children is a member there. There's orders in place.
Hold on, I've got questions here. Is the athletic club run by a government, and is the radio station run by a government?
The radio station belongs to the taxpayers. It's the University of New Mexico radio station. It belongs to me.
Okay.
And the athletic club is a private club, but it happens to be the one private club where all the big-time lawyers do their workouts and steam room and whatever else that they're doing. It's their club, the judges and lawyers and that whole circle.
Sounds expensive.
And no, well, for Albuquerque, it was the upper end, but you're talking $60 to $100 a month. And also, there's an order in place that when I attend city council meetings in Albuquerque, or I should say in Albuquerque, New Mexico, that I am assigned my own police escort to follow me everywhere that I go. The same is true when I go to the Supreme Court.
How'd you manage to merit all this special treatment, Dave?
Well, you should know, because I am the same person everywhere I go. The way that I am with you, whether you appreciate it or you can see exactly why they would ban me, what you hear now is what they get, and they don't like it, and they retaliate. And by the way, folks, retaliation in such affairs is a civil rights violation.
Yeah, I would say
so. Yeah, and so there's an order to follow me. They assign me my own personal cop at the city council meetings and at the Supreme Court and in the New Mexico Supreme Court Law Library. So how's that for a list?
It's pretty impressive. Is there anything you can do about these escorts that you're given? I mean, you're obviously treated differently than everybody else. How's that? What can you do about that?
Well, I can actually go file civil rights lawsuits, which is in the works. And just for the record, guys, that actually the guys themselves know it, the Albuquerque police and the Bernalillo County deputies that escort me, like I said before in your program, I actually make friends out of them. And here's a funny one. There's one of the senior guys at the district courthouse downtown Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's supposed to not take his eyes off of me. And one day I was in with a witness. There was a female counselor that I brought along because she wanted to learn about the courthouse. I went to file a restraining order against the dude that married my ex because he was stalking me and attacking me and stuff like that. And they actually, that's the episode where they ended up kicking me out of the courthouse after they interpreted the order saying that I was not allowed to file against somebody's committing what's considered a domestic violence against me. I'm not allowed to take any legal action against them because the Judge Ted Baca had written an order saying I can't be in the courthouse. But anyway, the funny thing is that I was standing at a clerk's counter to file this thing, and the deputy he remembered something else he had to do, and he said, he turned to the two of us and he said, do me a favor, I got to go do something quick. I'll be right back. Don't kill anybody while I'm gone, please.
Seems like a fair request.
Yeah, fair request. But that just goes, like I said, these guys end up being, at least as far as I know, friends of mine. And when they're ordered to not take their eyes off me, they do things like, go to do something and simply ask me if I won't kill anybody while they're gone. But that's just an example of what we deal with here in the wonderful state of New Mexico.
I suspect it's not much different there than it is anyplace else, Dave. I suspect it's that way everywhere.
And we have the Scientology, for grins, we have the Scientology Doomsday Bunker here in New Mexico. You can actually find it on Google Earth and take a look at it, where they built their structure into the side of the mountain and put all their whatever they got back, their records and relics, and where they're going to hide out when the end of the world comes and such like that.
Yeah, at least they have a place. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And that's how it, I mean, everybody knows it, that's how it is with the law, is the law is enforced the way they want to enforce it, and it will be enforced against you arbitrarily if they feel like doing that.
It can't be any other way.
It can't be.
According to me.
Not so long as human beings are going to do the enforcing. The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And you can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. This live edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
It's 855-450-FREE. Darryl, Fork Fest. What is this? What are we talking about?
Remember last year there was Shire Fest and Somalia Fest, and then you had King Mark Fest, and there was Secession Fest. Yeah. So, Fork Fest is a hard fork of all of those, and it's happening at the same time that those things happened, where it's the 5 days prior to the Porcupine Freedom Festival in the White Mountains of New Hampshire at Rogers Campground.
Yeah.
So for every Shire Fest or Somalia Fest or King Mark Fest or Secession Fest that you ever experienced, you get one free Fork Fest on the Fork Fest chain.
If you want to hang out in the woods at a campground with a bunch of weirdo libertarians, go to forkfest.party.
Yes,
that's
forkfest.party.
Party. I must say, it's fun.
And the forums also exist, forum.forkfest.party, and I'm actually planning some athletic events.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought you've
beer mile, cornhole.
Yeah, cornholing. Yeah, all right.
No, that's something completely different. Cornhole is...
Isn't that when you play cornhole? You're not cornholing when you play cornhole?
Cornhole is where you've got the board and the little sandbag thing, the little beanbag, and you try to throw it in the hole.
Oh.
It's like it's a bit like skee ball with beanbags.
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. I don't think it's a hard fork, Darryl. I think it's a soft fork because if you choose, you can the following year you can always go back to one of the other fests, and you will be compatible with it.
Well, there you go. Forkfest.party. Let's go to, it's Sarah.
And there may or may not actually be forks.
There will certainly be forks somewhere. Forks for your pork. It's a Porcupine Freedom Festival called Porkfest. It's Forkfest because it's a fork of Porkfest.
No, it's a fork of Shire Fest and Secession Fest and Somalia Fest and King Mark Fest.
Sarah, calling in from New Mexico. Sarah,
and Schism Fest.
What is on your mind?
And Sarah Fest.
I heard that man calling last night talking to you.
Okay.
He actually said that more the cars kill more people in auto accidents than all of the high school shootings and the police shooting and all of the shootings put together. And I was like, I can't believe I'm listening to this. I can't believe somebody else.
Everybody knows this. Cars are more deadly than homicide. Gun homicide. Yeah. I think that
the difference is nobody other than Sarah is saying that cars should be banned.
No, I never said that it should be banned. I'm just saying that we need to bring the self-driving cars as soon as possible. Auto brakes, auto sensor brakes.
All right, so hold on. Let me ask some questions here, Sarah. So let's say that we live in Sarah Utopia to where self-driving cars are the norm, meaning that there are more self-driving cars than cars driven by humans. Would you want to then ticket people for driving a car themselves and not owning a self-driving car? Do you want to, abolish cars that are operated by human beings?
My whole point is, my objective is not to give out tickets, is that I just want people to
So you don't want to give out tickets, but you want red light cameras and speeding vans that give out tickets.
Well, I have no idea how, if they have autonomous cars, half of them are autonomous and half of them are self-driving. I don't know how that's going to be congruent because we're supposed to have cars that have computers that talk to each other so we don't have any intersections. That's the goal.
Hold on. How do you eliminate intersections?
She's talking about not intersections, Darryl.
She said intersections.
I know, but Mark and I and
the
Sarah
intersection of
all
the cars
know.
in the intersection.
He's talking about the interface, the communication between two entities. The people, the cars communicate with each other, and the driver does not have to communicate with any of the cars.
Right, no signal light. In other words, if they enter an intersection, all the cars know whether one is turning a right.
Okay, so you get rid of red lights, stop signs, things of that. I'm with you on getting rid of red lights and stop signs.
I have an answer for you, Darryl. In a world of private roads, you could have your own private road that disallowed some meat space person behind the wheel of a death machine getting on there and messing with our whole safe operation of the robo transporter vehicles taking us from one location to the other. I mean, that seems like the obvious thing to do. Let's keep this antiquated analog machine out of our digital space.
All right, so what about the Amish that still have horse and buggy? Are they prohibited from coming into town to go to market?
Walk. What do I care? If you don't want to put a computer on your horse, what do I care?
Yeah, just put a robot up in the
horses for the
buggy.
Amish.
Just stick a buggy whip in a robot's hand.
They could take an Uber hovercraft. How's that?
Well, the thing about it is I just want to mention the truck drivers that are holding back, trying to stop the self-driving cars.
Truck drivers are doing what?
What are they trying to do?
What are the truck drivers doing?
The truckers that showed up, they wanted to lobby because they wanted to hold on to their jobs. Just because they're not going to stop future and technology just because they want to hold on to the job. You know what I mean?
Everybody should be jobless and collecting welfare like Sarah.
No, I think the truckers. This is going to happen. The first thing, once you have the autonomous driving technology and it's ready for prime time, the first place they should do it is trucks on the road. That on the interstate, somebody drives the truck to the interstate, gets off at the nearest rest stop, lets it go cross country from one location to the next or whatever it is doing. That makes perfectly good sense.
They've already been testing that, Mark.
Yeah, good.
So you know what? How many trucks were wrangled up on the freeway last year? Probably like 10,000 accidents involving trucks because they have such a huge blind spot.
I have no idea, but half the time it is not the fault of the truck driver, I can assure you. It's these zippy little cars thinking that they can get in front of a truck and slow down because they can slow down fast, the truck can slow down fast, or a whole variety of reasons. But yeah, not respectful.
It's like the people that think that they can zoom across the train tracks after the arm comes down.
Right.
I can beat the train. The train's not stopping for you.
Just because the train kills you doesn't
the train will stop for you a mile after it hits you.
Right.
I actually heard that radio ad on the radio earlier today.
The engineer's fault, But at the same time, we want trains to have better technology too. That's the first place to put this computer stuff in place because they can't even steer. Right. It's just go slow, fast, whatever. It seems to me that engineers are probably something they should have eliminated 10 years ago at this point.
Or more.
Yeah, so, my whole point is, again, I'm bringing this issue up just like that man called in. Somebody else noticed this, that, we just accept as auto fatality as just part of life. We all got to die somehow, diabetes, cancer, getting killed by a car, so what? But you know what? We could do things to make things better. You know what I mean?
I think they're trying, Sarah. I've got a car that has some self-driving capabilities to it. I got it for that purpose because I wanted to support that technology because I want to see this get integrated more. We now have in newer cars have this cruise control that'll slow down if the car in front of you slows down. This technology is coming along pretty quickly. You don't want it brought to market too quickly. You can't. This isn't the kind of thing you can speed. Hey, everybody, let's vote and see whether or not we have that. You can't speed this up. It should. It should be ready when it's ready, not when we want it to be ready. If that makes sense.
And now there's one thing where I will kind of agree with Sarah on this. It does seem as though certain governments are standing in the way of allowing this to happen.
Yeah, but not enough of them because they've got roads in every state. So if one state's going to be a pain in the butt about it, they'll just go to another state.
Which is what one of these self-driving things did, where they left California and went to New Mexico, I believe.
Yep. And one day they'll be going back to California.
I'm glad that our state welcomed them in. Yeah, nobody knows how to drive here.
Thanks for the call, Sarah. Nobody in New Mexico knows how to drive.
Yeah.
Free Talk Live.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Are you one of the 70% of Americans that want to own your own business? Afraid to leave the security of your current job to pursue your dreams? I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and myself want to show you a low-cost way to create your own business, working around your current job schedule, creating an extra income for you and your family by joining his crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the final segment of the ever exciting Sunday show with Mark,
Jonny Ray,
and Darryl.
Yeah.
So one thing we never explained, Darryl, we never explained to anybody is why is Ian not on the Sunday show anymore?
Come on.
Well, we made some changes to the schedule, and Sunday was one of the nights that we could figure out to where you and I would both be on the show.
Yeah, we wanted to make it so that there was a more even split between hosts. Ian had always done 6 nights a week, and
right.
It's just not fair that the guy carries that kind of load. We also, something we haven't really announced either, is we promoted you to partner, right?
Yes.
You are now a partner of Free Talk Live, and so we can hand you all the crap work, and you got to do it, and it's great. So that was, I felt like you showed the dedication to Free Talk Live that merited that kind of sort of bringing you on and that kind of thing. So there wasn't really any terrible hazing that you had to go through, fortunately. We haven't really developed.
May have been hazing, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. We have to develop a better hazing ritual, really. Actually, I don't want to bring anybody else in for partner. But anyway, more or less, you got brought in as a partner, and
yes.
As a result, we wanted to split the nights a little more evenly.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how that goes. We'll probably change the days up when I'm in state more regularly, starting in the sort of summertime, and give you a little more time off, and those kind of things. But at this time, it's split the way it's split. And your Thursday show is going so well, we didn't want to mess with that.
Right.
As the case may be. There you go. The number is 855-450-3733. We actually could get your call in if that's what you wanted to do. But Jonny Ray, apparently some guy was, I guess, got tased after getting stopped by the cops for jaywalking.
CNN.
Yeah.
A Western North Carolina police officer who resigned after a body camera video shows him hitting and using a taser on a man suspected of jaywalking will face preliminary charges of assault, the Buncombe County District Attorney's Office said Thursday. Senior police officer Christopher Hickman, 31, was removed from patrol duty a day after the incident last August and resigned from the Asheville Police Department in January. The same day he was to be terminated, according to a timeline of the case released by the Asheville City Council.
We're on Asheville tonight, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Sunday night.
That's your hometown.
Uh-huh. 570 WWNC.
Or is Keene now his hometown? Remember, we had that discussion of what is a hometown? Is it where you're from or where you live?
I'm curious, but I really have a definition. Your hometown is where you're from. Now, it may not be where you were born, but it's where you're from, where you sort of really identify being from. So I was born in Sarasota Memorial Hospital, 1 county south of Manatee, where I grew up. My hometown is Bradenton, Florida. Whether or not I, was born in Sarasota, that's irrelevant. I lived a good portion of my life in Sarasota, but really, honestly, I went to Bradenton Christian School. I went to Bayshore High School, which is in southern Manatee County, and believe me, the people there say that they live in Bradenton, even though they're not inside the city limits. Just everywhere I went, Bradenton. And that's my hometown. Whether I like it or not, I can't really change that. Yes, I currently live in a town near Keene, New Hampshire, but Keene isn't my hometown. It's where I live.
Right. So if I were to be asked, where are you from? I was born in Birmingham, and until I was about 20-something, little over half of those years, I was in the city limits of Birmingham.
Then you're from Birmingham.
And then, other years I was in one town outside in Trussville. I graduated from Trussville High School.
Yeah,
but I was living in Birmingham when I graduated from the other school. So I'm from Birmingham.
Yeah, I mean, there was no municipality where I lived most of the time in Manatee County, but everybody called it Bradenton, even though it wasn't inside the city limits.
Right.
On Thursday, back to the story, a judge issued a warrant for Hickman's arrest on 1 count each of assault by strangulation, assault inflicting serious injury, and communicating threats.
Now, the reason that this cop commenced to tasing and beating this guy was because he jaywalked, right?
He jaywalked, and I'm not sure if this CNN story has it, but what I'd heard before was jaywalking and trespassing. That's why he was stopped.
Okay.
And the trespassing was, according to Johnny Rush, the victim, he was on his way home from work, and he was walking through the parking lot of a business that was closed.
Yeah, that's not trespassing.
So that's the trespassing.
If you're looking in the window, if you're tapping, pulling on doors, you might be we might be talking about trespassing or something thereof. But if you're walking through the parking lot, not trespassing. Sorry.
Asheville Mayor Esther Mannheimer said Hickman has been taken into custody. Hickman, again, is the police officer.
Yeah.
It is unclear whether Hickman has an attorney.
Oh, I'm sure that the police union is taking care of that.
CNN reached out to the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge in Asheville and didn't receive an immediate comment.
Why would they comment? Commenting does not benefit the case.
No.
You're ridiculous to give CNN a comment. But I've got to say this. If you're going to have a law, right, and there's a law for jaywalking. Now, I'm not sure that I think jaywalking should be against the law. If you get hit, if you're not in the crosswalk and you're crossing at the wrong time, then you're at fault. That's all.
Yep.
That's just it. It's a civil issue, not a criminal one. I don't think jaywalking laws are necessary. But if you're going to have a law, a police officer needs to be able to enforce the law, right? That's a criminal offense.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be, but it is. And every criminal offense, if you run away from the police officer, you pick the criminal offense. If you decide, I don't want to be here anymore, and you run away from the police officer, it's essentially tantamount to a death penalty. They will, if you use a sufficient amount of force to avoid their help, they will kill you. And that's what the public needs to understand every time we make something illegal, like walking across the street where we don't have some paint and a light for you, is a death penalty if you don't give a sufficient amount of obeisance to the law. Right? I mean, ultimately, that's what it is. There is only one law: disobeying what we say. And okay, I mean, I get that. If the guy ran, the police officer's got to do something to get him,
Mm-hmm.
and tasing's usually better than beating.
All right, so I've got an article from the Citizens Time that explains the confrontation.
Objection.
Yes.
It's the Asheville Citizen Times, not the Citizens Time.
Thank you for correcting my dyslexia there. So Mr. Ruggiero says that in the video he warned Mr. Rush about jaywalking. Rush replies, "All I'm trying to do is go home, man. I'm tired. I just got off work."
Yep.
Yeah, and Officer Ruggiero was the trainee that was with Hickman on the night.
The night in question.
He says, "I've got two options. I can either arrest you or write you a ticket."
Oh, God.
Rush responds, "It doesn't matter to me. Do what you got to do besides keep harassing me." When Rush curses in exasperation, Hickman tells him to put his hands behind his back.
So
Rush
cursing by a citizen is a right. You are allowed to use whatever, disgusting epithets that you feel like using. A police officer is on the clock and should be acting in a professional manner. If cussing somehow upsets the police officer, he needs to go back to training.
Rush then ran. As he was being chased, Hickman can be heard saying, "You're going to get bleeped up hardcore," and then pulls out his stun gun.
Yeah, effed up.
It just says expletive. I'm guessing that's what it was.
What I have is after initial words were exchanged, Hickman moves to arrest Rush, who then flees on foot, according to video of the incident published by the Asheville Citizen Times on February 28th.
And those moves, according to the Citizen Times, was put your hands behind your back.
He thinks it's funny, Hickman is heard saying as he chases Rush. You know what's funny is you're going to get effed up hardcore.
Right. Well, I mean, the police officer's in a situation where his authority has been, besmirched, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody's saying, this is stupid. I'm not going to jail because you're, upset about jaywalking. Sorry, that's just ridiculous. And he attempts to take the law into his own hands. And the police officer's like, wait, I'm the one who takes the law into my own hands around here. And you can't do that. So he does what's a police officer supposed to do if somebody breaks the law and then runs away? You got to go after him. Now, the police officer should have never been empowered to go after somebody who, frankly, this is a civil infraction, in my opinion.
And the charges against Rush were dropped.
Well, I mean, they don't want the bad press because, the fact of the matter is that jaywalking laws are often applied in poor neighborhoods against minorities far more often than rich neighborhoods against white folks. Free Talk Live, freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing